And now, coming to you live from Staples Arena, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, the maiden voyage of the Henry and Heidi podcast. Heidi May, it begs the question, and by the way, my name is Henry Rollins, the long-suffering.
Oh, brother.
Why you came up with this idea a few weeks ago, which has thrown my life into total chaos. You came into my office and you said, "We need to do a podcast!" And
Okay.
I said, "I don't have the equipment to do it." Order it! So I went to Engineer X, who knows everything, and I said, the damn thing wants to start doing podcasts. What do I need? And he told me what to order. And here it is right here, this massive Apogee box. So, of course, I get it out of the box, and I get about 2/3 of the way into the software and almost break down in tears because I can't do it. He comes over here on a Sunday, and he almost throws in the towel trying to get this thing to work. But now it's working, and so you and I can do our podcast together.
I'm not surprised that you couldn't figure it out. That doesn't shock me at all. I was
Okay.
a little shocked that Engineer X had a hard time.
Thanks.
Well, I'm just saying, you're
Okay.
not very tech savvy, are we?
I'm just good looking and charismatic.
Oh, boy.
So what do you have on your mind, Heidi May?
Well, I wanted to start a podcast because everyone else has one, A.
Right.
B, you do everyone else's podcast.
And so
C,
now I'm doing your podcast.
No, this is your podcast, but you have to tell the truth with me.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear your answers.
No, you know what?
You're a little sugar-coated.
Heidi.
Let's face it, it's true. Henry.
Heidi.
Henry.
Who's the one who said to me, if we're going to get talking about it, who's the one who said to me that everyone goes into a social situation wearing a bit of a mask? It's okay. Everyone does it. And should I say who said that they do it when they go places?
Everyone has a social mask.
Uh-huh.
I do not deny it.
So
But
you say you do.
Everyone does.
And-
But sometimes when I
Yeah.
hear your answers,
Yeah.
I want to have a stroke. Because I know the truth.
You want to stroke out?
I do. I was like, I sit in my office and I just think, God, I want to go grab the phone and tell the truth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So why not start our own podcast?
No, I think you're absolutely right.
Quit it. Ow.
I'm just trying to help you with your mic position.
It's fine.
Okay. So,
Controlling.
no, I'm just trying to make it easier on the listener. Okay, Heidi, so it is February 12th,
That's
2015. What
That's
happens
right.
What happens tomorrow?
Henry Rollins turns 54.
Yep. And it's a nondescript year for me. It was like it reminds me of when I turned 27 or 28. It was not a milestone. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh, it's another year. And so 54, anything over 50 at this point, it's like, it's a high how do you do of an age. In that I'm glad to still be alive. It's not like I'm going to get darker hair and get more spring in my step. I am now officially in maintenance mode.
We could dye your hair.
No,
Why not?
no way.
Take 20 years off.
No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be real.
You look like Roy Orbison.
I would look like a weird guy
You look
with
like
dye
Roy
in his hair.
Orbison.
I'd look like guys in this town with their 8-year-old girlfriend with their hair dyed and the roots show, and it's like not happening. No, I don't mind being who I am or being what I am,
Well,
a
that's good.
54-year-old man. So tomorrow, let's talk about what you proposed and what is actually going
I
to
have
happen.
a question first. Why do you have the good chair with the back, and I have this broken down piece of crap, and I'm getting scoliosis?
There you go. Switching the chairs.
Yeah, that's much better.
Uh-huh.
I don't like a crooked spine myself.
Okay, whatever. There you have it.
Thank you. I
You
feel
happy
much
now?
better. Yes. God, this seat is hot. What are you, the devil? Jeez. No joke. It's on fire.
Whatever.
God, something's wrong.
Healthy circulation.
No, something's wrong.
Anyway, so you had this idea, and we kind of sort of did it last year, but it kind of worked out to your benefit last year. We have a day every once a year.
It's your birthday.
It's my birthday where we just do whatever Henry says. It's the day where Henry gets his way. And last year, Henry's big day, we went and ate at a place that Heidi likes. that I like as well. But it was her idea, and we went. It was great.
Oh yeah, smokehouse, right?
Yeah, and if you've listened or seen any of our videos before, because this is our first podcast, if you've ever seen any of the videos, you may have seen this doll that Heidi got me that has sound bites, that of things that she yells at me and says. And she had not presented this doll to me yet. This thing's been sitting in the office now for 364 days. She actually dressed just like the doll. And so it was the day of lunch, and then we came back to the office, and she goes, look, and we looked at the doll, and we looked at Heidi, and it was just a great thing.
Yeah, don't listen. This year, that thing took so much energy. Don't count on anything this year.
Heidi, I don't want anything from you.
So, idea.
But tomorrow,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be all about Henry tomorrow, right? So it's Henry's day. He's 54.
Right.
So, and you said, Henry Rollins, we'll do whatever you want to do because it's your day. How about we? You came up with
I came up with a suggestion because when I ask you, I don't know. I want to be alone. And I say, well, do you really want to be alone, Henry, on your birthday? Do you not want, do you know? No, we can do something. That's how you sound.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so I suggested that we go to the South Bay.
And for our listeners who don't know what that is, define the South Bay.
Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, California, LA, Los Angeles, California.
And why is that significant to you and to me? That's a little bit of interesting history.
I was born and raised in the South Bay. You moved to the South Bay to do Black Flag.
Right. So when I was in Black Flag, I was 20-something. You were about 4? And so
Not quite.
Little did you know as a little kid that you were
I had no idea.
You lived near Dokken, Rat.
Did not know.
The Beach Boys, Black Flag, the Descendants, and Saccharine Trust, the Minutemen. You were surrounded by South Bay bands.
Were the Circle Jerks there?
No, I think
Keith is from there, though.
Keith is from the beach.
Yeah.
In fact, Bill Stevenson and I used to go by. This is a long time ago. He goes, hey, there's Keith's dad's bait shop. He had a bait and tackle shop.
I think it was in Hermosa.
And then Bill and I would go running it all the time. And he said, let's go in. And I remember the first time I went in, I'm like, Keith Morris is in here? I didn't know he had a bait shop. And there's Keith behind the counter because Bill was like a commercial fisherman. I mean, he did that for a living.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
No, really?
Like hardcore. Like he would come to Descendants gigs with what he called his clothes. It was that one-piece zip-up suit covered in fish blood and scales. And he would walk in with, who's the guitar player? Frank? Whoever it was. Those two would come in from working on a boat, covered in fish and stench. And they'd get on stage and play in their clothes. And it was the fish, the scales, the blood, the memories. And he knew Keith anyway because they're local. And so we'd go in there, and there's Keith Morris. Hey, man, what are you guys doing? And we'd be in our running shorts getting ready for a Black Flag tour. And so this is years before you and I met. And then we become co-combatants. And I find out that you have this complete South Bay history. I mean, that's your roots.
Well, the weird thing is when one time you and I did a whole little tour down there, and there's this little place called Rod's Charbroiler.
Yep.
And I used to go there to get taquitos and chocolate malts for my dad, who's the one that named you Henry Rollins, by the way. When we get mail saying that I don't know your name, we should probably explain. I worked with you for 17 years.
17 point something.
And my dad still thinks your last name's Rollins. I don't know why.
This October will be 18 years?
Yeah. So, but being at Rod's, you were probably directly across the street at SST.
Yeah, we were on the corner. Rod's is on, Artesia? If you go around the corner on Phelan, one intersection going towards the beach, one intersection west is Phelan.
Off of Artesia.
Yeah. Make a left on Phelan.
Yeah.
Go to the first corner.
Right.
That intersection, left side, that the little housing unit, that's where SST was.
Right.
But next to Rod's, going out of the door, going east on Artesia, a couple of complexes up, they have those kind of clumpy buildings. That's where Black Flag practiced, wrote songs, basically wrote a lot of my war record, rehearsed it, And that's where all the management and tour booking went out of. That was called Global. Offices on top, practice room in the bottom, and every band played in there. Minutemen would play there. Black Flag, Saccharine Trust types would show up. Everyone, there would be like these long jam sessions. You'd have Chuck Tukowski on bass, Greg Cameron on drums, Ted Falcone from Flipper on guitar. Sometimes you'd have like Dez on guitar, Greg Ginn on guitar, someone on drums and bass. They would just play all the time. I got tapes of some of that stuff. And so that we had two places. So you would do your practice and tour stuff there and then go around the corner on Phelan. And that's where SST Records was.
It's very weird.
Yeah. And so you and I were, in a way, we were neighbors.
In the same, yeah, really.
Yeah.
Truly. And then I grew up at a little restaurant, literally grew up in this restaurant called Leo's Mexican Food. It's in Lawndale, technically.
Because some people in your family didn't cook.
My mom did not cook.
And she handed that on to her daughter.
That's right. I don't cook, never have, never will.
I've been to your house. The whole thing says, hey, thanks for coming over. Leave.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it says the
No, it
couch is
doesn't.
this wide.
No.
You sit on it, you fall off.
It's not true.
Everything is like squeaky clean.
Yes.
No one lives there.
I keep a clean house.
You can't move anything without it being moved back.
Shut up.
And it's time to leave.
No, but I don't like to cook. I would like to go to Leo's. So that's where Henry and I are going for.
Right. So you said, so what do you want to do on your birthday? It's your day. And I said, I don't know. We could go to Leo's. I'm like, oh, I said, guess we're going to Leo's. And then you went, no. I said, no, we're going to Leo's. You went, we should.
I said we can go to sushi if you want, even though I'll throw up.
Right. We're not going to eat sushi.
Sushi. I hate. Fish makes me sick.
Right. So we're going to go get on the, what do you get on the 10?
No, you get on the 405. You get off on Inglewood Avenue. It's right there. Leo's. And then we'll head over and do a little.
So we're gonna do a little trip down memory lane, and we're gonna bring the iPad with us. We cannot make any promises as to what we're gonna capture. You never know.
That's right.
But we're gonna try and get Henry Rollins near some of his old haunts. This is 213 trying to drag itself into this modern age with multimedia platforms. We have a podcast, which is not much of a podcast. It's just two people sitting in an office.
More like sound bites.
Yes. And we also have this visual component, and we're going to take the iPad on the road tomorrow all the way down to South Bay, and we're going to see what happens. Now, you and I made a very poignant trip to South Bay. I'm really bad with time. I don't know how many years ago it was.
That was years ago.
It was a long time ago.
Maybe 8 years ago.
And you said, show me around. So we drove down there.
Well, I wanted you to show me around what
you said, show me around like where you guys used to be. And so I said, well, there's Rod's. You knew Rod's. I said, there's the 7-Eleven I used to go to when I had money. There's the Mexican restaurant across the street from Rod's next to the 7-Eleven.
It's not as good as Leo's, but yes.
What was the name of that place?
I don't know. That's where you went. I went to Leo's.
But it has a name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, Dukowski and I, well, when Black Flag had money, we'd go in there and we'd eat. It was like a big deal for us. But when we didn't have money, I learned this from Dukowski, we would go into that place. Oh, come on, what's that place called? Anyway, because it's still there. Mm-hmm. We would go in, and I learned this from Dukowski. We would order like a bowl of chips and salsa, which is like, $1.35, and water. So the waiter knows that we're stiffs. So he grumbles and goes away. You wait for families or couples to be getting up from their meals to leave. Before the waiter can take the food they leave, you run over and either take the plate back to your table or you sit down at that table and you hoover up this already been chewed upon food, which the first time you do it, it's gross.
That's
disgusting. It's disgusting. But when you're hungry enough, you're just like, I'm doing this.
What if the person had herpes?
Well, right. So,
on their lip.
Yeah. So,
which a lot of people on the South Bay walk around with big giant things on their lip from the sun.
Yeah, and a parrot on their shoulder.
It's true.
Yeah.
When growing up, everyone had a parrot on their shoulder.
You know what?
It's so irritating.
There's a lot of parrots.
A lot of roller skates. A lot of parrots. Yacht rock.
Anyway, we would go in there, and you'd eat and the best thing to do would be sit down where some kid had just gotten up from, because the kids rarely finish the meal. And so I would sit down and get this rapidly congealing cold food into my mouth. And the waiter would come over And sometimes he would know who we were. He'd go like, look, man, you guys got to get out of here. You can't do this. And we'd go, okay, and put down a few dollars for the bowl of chips and skulk out. And we did that a few times. You'd wake up, there would be no food and no money. And you just go like, well, let's walk over to that place and just see what happens.
Should we talk about why you didn't have any money?
Well, we weren't the best managers of ourselves.
I don't think that's it, but okay.
Well, that was part of it.
All right. You're okay. We won't go there then.
What are we talking about? Some people. Well,
I'm just
later.
saying someone didn't get paid. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, well, we all got our little salaries, but when things were really thin, you got nothing. You just got what you would just kind of scrounge around.
Remember we walked around and it was nighttime and we were in front of the old SST building.
Right.
And the sound of the wires at night at the beach, it does this.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
And you felt very strange.
Oh, it was very poignant
Your
for
legs
me.
almost went out from underneath you.
Well, the thing about the South Bay, it's like the best place.
It really is.
Ever. And the thing that was
Love it.
trippy, I hadn't been back to that building since, I don't know, like 1986. It was weird.
Yeah.
The doorway of SST is gone. It's like two little apartments on the ground floor that had two doors. SST is probably they blew the wall out between the two, and the doorway going into where SST was is now stucco, but you can see the outline of the door, which is very symbolic. And maybe we'll get that when we go down there with the iPad. But you can see the outline of the door, but there's no door. So it's basically saying your past is over, move on. But when you stand in front of there, the air smells the same, smells amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the texture of the air, that moisture, is just
Yep.
Beautiful. And you're not more than 3/4 of a mile from the beach.
That's right.
So you can smell the ocean. The air is perfect, and the buzz of the power lines. I was standing there for a couple of seconds. All of a sudden, I forgot where I was.
I know. It was
It's
really weird.
It was a sensory overload.
Yeah.
And then, even more poignantly, you said you built this house for the Gins, you and D. Boone, and these construction guys. I said, yeah. You said, take me to it. So we drive to that place, which I have never seen fully built. I worked on it.
It was very interesting.
Well, Mr. Ginn designed it. He was innovative. But me and D. Boone worked on it for part of 82, 83, until I went on tour again. And then I never went back because I got too busy. And so I've never seen it finished. So you and I drove up.
Yep.
We park, and I'm kind of giving you the tour. And there's I guess maybe the garage, the basement.
It was the window.
Yeah, but
it was a side window.
But I don't know what the room was.
I don't know.
But
I felt like it was the kitchen.
Something. But we see a TV light, just flashing. So there's a window to look through.
Yep.
And we look through the window.
Yep.
And there's Mr. Ginn, the great Regis Ginn. Sadly, he's passed away. Long life, good man, great man. And he doesn't see us. And he's at work doing something. He was always busy. And he was doing something. He was at work doing whatever it was. And so he wasn't looking up. So we just watched him for a minute. And you said, let's ring on the doorbell and go in and say hello.
Yeah.
And I said, no, let's just not. Let's just watch it like it's a little ecosystem.
I remember your breathing changed. Truly. It got
well, yeah,
deep.
It was heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy experience.
Yeah. You wouldn't let me knock on the door. And then there was another place where the shed was.
Uh-huh.
We went somewhere else.
It was another place where the Gins had two houses.
Okay.
They had the one I lived in the back.
Yeah.
And they had this property that Mr. Ginn very smartly bought years ago when beach property was cheap. And he bought it when he was a teacher. So he must have not paid much, because a teacher, who's paying a teacher? And so, but he had these two bits of beautiful real estate. I lived in the one and helped build a house on the other. So you said, well, show me where the shed was.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So we pull up to that bit of property.
Yep. And you wouldn't let me knock on their door either.
Well, it's California. You get a gun stuck in your face.
And I don't think so. I looked inside and there was a surfboard on the wall. I doubt that guy's going to shoot us.
Surfers have been known to pull weapons.
Listen, I wanted to go in there. We should have walked. We're going to do that tomorrow.
We're not going to knock on the door.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not.
You're not going to. I'll do it.
Why?
'Cause why not? Why not?
You
We're doing
bug
that.
people.
No, they like
Why
it.
do you always have to get
They like
people's
it.
stuff?
I know. No, because people love this stuff.
They don't love it.
Yeah, they do.
They don't necessarily love it.
Well, they might not love it, but people are obliging. People are cool. I wonder if the shed is still there.
Well,
That's my question. And we're going to go. And by the way,
I'm nervous now.
I want everyone, is your breathing going to change?
Whatever.
Are your legs going to fly out from underneath
I'm sitting.
you? Okay, good thing. The other thing I wanted to say is I am going to bring the iPad to record.
Right.
And to everyone that thinks that it's not real, I don't know. It's real.
What do they think isn't real?
They think that, like, when we do our videos,
we're putting it on?
that we're putting it on and it's fake. And what they don't understand is I have hundreds of hours of us.
Years of it.
Hundreds. Well, 17 years of it. Well, maybe 15 years of it. Hundreds of hours of us. And I only put up what, you think is funny or whatever. But none of it's fake. I always have a camera.
Another thing. This is the two of us in this office.
Yeah.
And we're yelling at each other all day.
I know. I wish we should get fixed cameras in here.
That'd be easy. You just get a GoPro, put it there.
Yeah, we really should.
Put another one there.
We really should, because I would love to even watch that. Because I'm holding the iPad when things start to go crazy.
Yeah, but then you'd have to be in the shot.
But if we have...
Oh, we have to
we could
pixelate
blur
your
me
face.
out. We could blur me
so
out.
Weird.
We could blur me out.
You know what? You're CIA, aren't you? You're like
it's
an
just
operative.
People don't care about me. They care about you. So we blur me out, and we should do that. Because that's the true anarchy.
We should get Kevin, the camera guy, to come in and show us how to, because that's all Bluetooth now. You just go right to your computer.
And what else we need is GoPros in the car, because that's where the action comes in. Because
like,
I am the DJ.
Oh, I hate you. Yeah, we could, like when I did that thing with RuPaul, there was the GoPro on his side that gets me, and the GoPro on my side that gets him.
Yeah.
It just crossed.
That's what I'm saying. We should do that, because I'm a great DJ in the car.
Oh boy.
I am.
So tomorrow we're going on a road trip.
Yep.
To see the
road trip.
We're going out to see the roots of the Rawlings. Hey, you know what we can do? Another stop if you want. We can go. I can show you the original P.O. box for 213. We could look at P.O. Box 2461.
Where was it? In Lawndale?
It's on Artesia, right next to that Mexican restaurant Calamex.
I think that's technically Lawndale.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's almost to Artesia and Phelan. It's like several blocks past.
Might be
it's
Redondo.
More like Redondo.
Might be Redondo, yeah.
Yeah, it was Redondo, because that's what my P.O. box said. SST's P.O. box, that was Lawndale.
Okay.
I was Redondo.
Okay.
And so I haven't been in that P.O. box since 89.
We're going to do a little tour.
We'll do a little tour.
And I'm going to record a lot of it. And if, maybe we'll post some of it.
Okay. So this is our first podcast, which I admit was very polite, very tame. And maybe we'll just let this be for the first time. We can end it peacefully.
I don't know if it's very interesting. Do you want to do Heidi's headline?
Do you have one?
I have a Heidi's headline.
Okay, let me...
So
hold on. I might have a sound effect. Would you like a...
the thing about Heidi's headline is that Henry does stuff to me constantly.
Right.
And it's not fair. So I write little headlines. And
so
Henry doesn't know what they are.
Well,
I'm just going to hand it to him right now.
Well, hold on. No, you had a sound effect. Do you remember
Jackhammer.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay. All right, I'm going to bring up the jackhammer. So, Heidi, hold your microphone to the NS10. Here we go with jackhammer. And now it's time for Heidi's headlines. Henry and Heidi go to lunch. But because Henry is always in a hurry, Heidi isn't allowed to chew her food and almost chokes to death. Henry thinks it's hilarious.
It's true. Let's talk about this really quick.
Let's do that, because you know what? Here's what you'll do.
Let's do it.
Here's what happens. I sit down and I eat my damn meal. I come to the end of my food. You have a full bowl of soup and most of your salad, and it's time to go.
No, that's not it.
Why? Because you're doing work on the BlackBerry,
Well,
and you're yelling at me while I'm stuffing my face.
I have a very stressful job. It's 24/7. It's weird because you're not that famous, but I'm busy. I am busy.
Yeah.
And so I got different time zones. I've got England, I've got Australia. I got a lot of time zones I'm dealing with here.
Uh-huh.
And I like to get out of the office and clear my mind, have a lunch, discuss things, but you want to stay in the office. I want to eat a can of soup. I don't want to go out. It's ridiculous.
Well, whatever.
Whatever, Henry. Get a life. You got to get out of the office. You got to do other things.
What is this, Europe? Every day we go out to lunch.
Henry, we have to eat.
Hey, ciao. We're going out to lunch.
We have to eat, and we don't go every day. We go twice a week.
No, it used to be Mondays and Wednesdays.
I know, but then
And now Tuesday and Thursday happens too.
Well, what happened was when the kitchen was being redone, we had to eat out every day, and I liked it. So we've stuck with that.
Yeah, and now what you do? Henry, your voice changes. He goes, and I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm getting played. You walk in, hey, I didn't bring lunch, and all I have is a 9-year-old can of soup. It's been there for like a week. All I have is a 9-year can of soup here. And I'm like, I guess we're going out to lunch. No, we don't have to. But I'm like, we're going out to lunch. She's like, I'm really hungry.
Yeah, and you say the big unit needs to be fed. So then we go to lunch.
Whoa,
you call me a big unit.
I do not.
Yeah, you
I
do.
have never called you.
It's cool.
No.
Yeah, Henry.
No.
Henry, let's talk about it. Just so you know, Henry thinks I'm a big unit. It's cool. I could care less. But here's the other thing.
I've never said that.
Someone being in LA, it's a travesty. Someone will be walking down the street. They will weigh 89 pounds and they're 5'7". I will think to myself, that poor girl, her organs are shutting down from the anorexia or bulimia, whatever she has. And Henry will look at me and go, she's so hot. And she's not.
Really? I will use those exact words.
Yeah, she's hot. I'm like, really? Because her kidneys are shutting down as well as her heart. She needs to eat. Yeah.
And you're the one who says, what did you do was it yesterday or today where you went, oh, feed me. I need food. That was the first time I had ever heard you talk in that way. And so it's like we're Italians. We just go out to lunch in the afternoon.
It's not true. It's
early
never more than
evening.
an hour. It's never more than an hour. I made him time it because he's such a little brat about going out. This is our first podcast, and I realized that it probably isn't that, it's pretty mellow.
Uh-huh.
But we're going to do a follow-up of our day out.
Right.
In the South Bay, where Henry Rollins revisits his past.
Okay, and so this is Henry.
This is Heidi.
And we're signing off.
We should have sign-off music. I love sound effects.